Okay, if you want, you can tell me your name, but how many years you've been practicing as an athletic trainer?
Okay. First name is Jed, J-E-D. Last name is Arseneau, A-R-S-E-N-E-A-U. I've been at Terre Haute North for 10.5 years. I've been in the athletic training profession for 12.
Great. And to you, what is evidence-based practice?
Evidence-based practice is just using the research that others in our profession have done in order to apply it to everyday use. Being able to, when people question why you do things, you now have numbers and reasonings for what you're doing.
All right, cool. So taking what has been done and applying it to what you're doing. Cool. So how do you utilize evidence-based practice in the athletic training room here at North?
I try to use it through the grad assistants and the undergrads that ISU has. The schooling I went through was more old school, where it was all hands-on, more practical stuff. So I'm still in the learning phase of evidence-based and where to find the information and just kind of letting ISU lead the way with that here at North.
Okay. And so, kind of like, based on your answer for that question, do you feel like you were prepared to use evidence-based practice in your practice when you graduated from your undergrad or any other education you had now?
No, just because I graduated from Eastern Illinois back in 2003 and evidence-based wasn't really around then. They did have research going, but Eastern Illinois doesn't have a large research aspect to their program.
All right. And so how much experience do you have with evidence-based practice now that you've started to use it? So in what ways, you can give me some specifics if you want.
Okay. Just since evidence-based has been around for the last 2, maybe 3 years when they first started talking about it, mainly used it in the research of what previous grad assistants have done with heat illness, the cold laser, just looking at some of the testing. And even though when you're doing like a shoulder eval and going through all the tests, I went through all the tests anyway, and now that I actually know that certain tests work better together than others, I've kind of changed my mentality a little bit about which tests I'm doing on certain injuries.
All right. And that leads to my last question. Based on what you've learned through research that you've found, is there anything that you've changed throughout your practice since you started as an athletic trainer?
I think it's more of the approach and thought process of looking at injuries. I've always gone with the mentality of what orthopedics I've worked with. I've always said just listen to the history, and that kind of determines what test you're going to use to confirm what your thought is. Now, that's kind of changed a little bit in the fact that you have to actually compile the test together first, then approach the actual hands-on exam.
Yeah, so like a combined approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
All right, cool.